In the active voice, passive voice first slot. After that, first I will discuss with you the use of passive voice. How we use of passive voice. Now, one thing students you should keep in mind, you should know, a sentence which is written in active voice is more forceful and direct than the passive voice. Active voice sentences are more forceful and direct than the passive voice. Now let's move on. Where and why do we use the passive voice? Number one, we use the passive voice when we don't want to tell about the doer of the action, who had done it. When we don't want to tell about the doer of the action. When we do not want to tell about the doer of the action. That means we will specifically not mention about the subject. We will make it a bit unclear. We do not want to tell about the doer of the action, about the specific subject. Example, I am giving you one example. See, she was found cheating. She subject, it's a pronoun. Everyone knows it is a personal pronoun of feminine gender. But actually, who is that she? We do not want to know, do not want to tell the doer of the action. She was found cheating. Second, we use the passive voice where we do not know about the doer of the action. Who is the doer of the action? We do not know about him. He doesn't know about the doer of the action. He doesn't know about the subject who has done it. When we do not know about the doer of the action. For example, I am giving you an example. My pocket has been picked. My pocket has been picked. Who has picked my pocket? Who is the pickpocketer? Do not know. We don't know. So in this case, when it doesn't know, about the doer of the action, we use this passive voice. Now, help me. Last. We use the passive voice when we want to give stress or we want to emphasize in the sentence on the recipient of the action. We want to emphasize on the recipient of the action. We want to stress on the recipient of the action. We want to give more significance to the recipient of the action. In that case, we use the passive voice. Where we want to emphasize on the recipient of the action. When you want to emphasize, that means gives more stress on the recipient of the action. There we use the passive voice. Example, for example, I am giving you an example. The king was cheered by the people. See, was cheered. Who was cheering? Cheered by the people. Who was cheering? Who was applauding? Who was cheering? The people was cheering. The people was cheering. To whom? To the king. To the king. The king was receiving the cheers. From whom? The people. The people were cheering. Cheering to whom? The king. And the king is receiving. He is the recipient of the action part of the people. He is the recipient, the receiver of the action part of the people. Action part of the people, they were cheering the king. He was the recipient. We are giving more emphasis on the king. In this case, we use the passive voice.